One of my daughter's friends, my adopted son, principal extraordinaire. His name is Aaron Cardwell. We are going to be talking about things that can help you as you are homeschooling. That is and your new normal. So we want to give you some advice and tips and tricks. He has helped some of my friends and some of my clients, and they have been very pleased with what he has done. So I wanted to bring him to you live today so that you can ask him any questions that you have. He's going to talk about some of the things that he's done, and I just can't wait to introduce you here. Okay. So he's going to be coming on in a couple minutes. Hopefully you guys are coming through and coming on. If you have any questions or comments, questions for Aaron, we're going to take live questions, put them in the comments, and we're going to answer them as we go or, at the end of it. So I will get Aaron in here. Hey, I'm going to add you to the stream here. There you go. Hey, Aaron.
How are
about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm surviving in the house.
Which I know for you is like really, really difficult.
This is a challenge, but I'm pushing through.
It's a huge challenge. So I wanted to bring you on because I know that you have been doing some things, at least with some of my friends and some of my clients, as we try to survive COVID-19 as it relates to like the kids and making sure that they are home distance learning properly, especially for, some of the kids who have like IEPs and things like that. Yeah. So can you just tell us first, let me let you introduce yourself. I gave them a little brief introduction, and I'm a lot biased, but go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
So a little bit about me. I grew up in the DMV area, primarily Fort Washington. Interesting enough, I used to run track with, I always say Miss Jordan, but Wavitra's daughter in high school and some of middle from like different teams. So I went to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I majored in sociology, and I joined a program called Teach for America. There are a lot of feelings about TFA, but I am what they consider a lifer. So instead of doing 2 years, I have a lifelong commitment to education. And from there, I recently graduated from Johns Hopkins with a master's in elementary education. But I taught 5th grade, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, coached 4th grade and 9th grade math. So I'm very well versed in the STEM world. And I've supported and taught humanities or reading, as we say, for a year or 2 years. So this is my 6th year in education, 5 years as a teacher, and this is my very first school year as an assistant principal in Southeast DC at a elementary school called Rocketship Legacy Prep. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. Well, I am excited. Yes, I remember those track days. They were long and hot. And I really feel like you and Dominique and Latrice, all of y'all were just running track. Well, except for Latrice, because she's just a whole track star. But y'all were just running track for social stuff, right? So for friends. At least I know my daughter just did it for friends. So but yes, but you have in your short career, you have done a lot of stuff. And one of the things that I really like is 6 years isn't short. That's a long time in education. And I didn't know they changed reading to humanities. Like, when did that happen?
I guess
it been that way?
It depends on what school you're in. I think like when you think of reading, you think of a child like having a book in their hand and just being able to read the words. But like humanities dives deeper into like a deeper meaning of a text. You have the phonics, you have the foundational skills, the literacy skills. It's so much, but it's called different things. You have your English, your ELA, your humanities, your reading. It all depends on where your school is and probably how fancy they're trying to sound.
Oh, yeah. I think it's really fancy. Really fancy. It's like we had literature, we had reading, and what else did we have? I think it was just literature and reading. I don't English, just English, right? Like it wasn't humanities. But congratulations though, because one of the things I really like about what you're doing is you like totally changed your classroom into like a dynamic space for the kids. And it's like, for me, my kids went to Montessori school in elementary and middle. So it's more like that kind of environment where they're touching, feeling, learning songs, doing things to music and all that kind of stuff, which I think is a lot more interactive. And I feel like kids actually learn more and are able to digest a little bit more.
Yeah.
So with all of that said, tell us, like, right now, this is like crazy. And it looks like it's going to go on for some time. And a lot of parents are just not used to doing this at all with their kids. I mean, aside from checking homework. And I can tell you, homework nights in my house, man, it was like a battlefield. So if I had to homeschool right now, like, I know I saw a post that like JJ would totally be suspended for skipping class after the first week. And Dominique would totally be expelled for her mouth after the second week. So we wouldn't have made it even this long. But I know that like there are a lot of tools and there are a lot of things for parents out there, but I feel like it's overwhelming for me to see. So I'm sure that it's really overwhelming for them too. So can you tell us some of the things that you're currently doing to support like the students at your school and their parents?
So just to give you a big picture, I think right now, because education has become so tech heavy, schools are now distributing tech to families. Either they got it before we went into like a pandemic, or they're getting it during the process now. Mm-hmm. I think where I am at to just support the families at my school is just maintaining composure. Like, we don't know what tomorrow looks like. We don't know what is going to happen on the news and things like that. So when families call me and distraught about academics, it's like, let's breathe. You know, the education, but your mental wellness is the biggest thing that we're looking for. And I think my job has done, or school has done, a really good job at setting families up for success with that. So the biggest piece is like a biweekly communication. As an assistant principal, I find myself trying to get back into the teaching mode. And like currently I'm supporting my third grade math teacher who has been out, and I have been taking over the third grade mathematics. So I've been posting videos on Instagram, Facebook for people to see. And what I always get is, oh, this new math is amazing. Like, I never knew division could be so easy. And it just had broken down for people to see like how it builds upon previous skills that you learned, and not so much new math, but more so kids can understand like the visual concept of math, which to word problems will be called number stories or story problems. So now you can see how math operates on a day-to-day basis. But with the biweekly communication for families, it's a wellness check-in first. That's always coming up. Then it's the academic piece, like, what do you need help with? What is your kid doing? How can we get you up and running on a computer or any piece of technology that you have? And then just the socialization piece. I have some parents who are like, I just needed to talk for 10 minutes because I'm right now, or my son is crying because he answered a question wrong, so I'm sending him back to his room. I'm like, I'm here to help.
Right. And they probably the kids probably receive you better than they receive their parents, right?
I've had, here, take the phone, talk to Mr. Cardwell, and put me on the phone. What do we need to jump in and do? And I think the good thing is I taught in the school that I do lead now, so I have that relationship with the kids that I work with to support them, and the content knowledge to say, you know what, this is challenging or super easy. Like, let's work through it together to get to the finish line.
Right. I know my kids would definitely relate more to their teacher than us in this house right now.
On the subject matter.
And definitely. So, what areas do you see your people struggling with the most with distance learning?
I think the biggest thing is trying to be the teacher and the parent at home, knowing like the boundaries and how you don't want education to be punitive, but more restorative when things happen. So schedule consistency. You're talking about now kids get to sleep in, and working in Southeast is now my kid wakes up at 11:30. Your kid used to wake up at 5:30 every morning. You don't want to break that habit. You still want them to be in a mindset of what a traditional educational day looks like. Although it's happening at home, let's knock it out in the morning, get the academics down. We get the play, we tire ourselves out in the afternoon. We eat lunch, we go to dinner, things like that. We go to sleep.
Right.
So I do think the schedule consistency, which I'm seeing a lot of schools now have posted. As you see, I have my network's schedule behind me. My principal made us print it out on post-it paper so we can never forget what happens. But even balancing like the work home schedule. Some parents are like, hey, Mr. Cardwell, my child doesn't start to work until 6:30. And I said, that's completely fine. Like, we still just want your child to have access to an equitable education. Want it to be, oh, because I get off at 5, I can't see a video of the content, or we don't have internet and I can't find another way to get, the lesson out. So we tried, multiple ways to support, but I do know that is challenging as well. Also with like Wi-Fi. Some families don't have access to a strong Wi-Fi to load the capacity of a YouTube video or to even get a kid to do online programming. So I do know that Comcast is offering 2 months free or 2 months for $9.95. So
okay, I didn't know that.
Still access some of the so you have access to Wi-Fi while we're in these times.
Oh wow, okay.
The other thing is like understanding and checking the work. That has been a hard part for my families, especially I want to say second grade and up, just because like addition looks a little different and not new math, but it's a more concrete way for a kid to develop an understanding or abstract way. And then multiplication and division is not, oh, I just know 5 times 5 is 25, but why is 5 times 5 25? How do I put all these objects together and count in total versus I'm just fluent at looking at a card and not knowing why that math is happening. So that's a few of those things. I think the other piece is like accountability of work. How do I make sure my child is doing all the components of their day? And like I said, some schools already have this in place. Some schools are still trying to figure out what to do. So the flexibility of a parent is also hard because I'm trying to keep my kid busy from 8, 9, 10 o'clock to 3:34. I don't have, the tools or resources I need at home because I'm used to my child being at school. The other thing is resistant work behavior. So depending on like how the work ethic is of the child or like what investment has been put into that student for what work habits look like. I know families have called me like, Mr. Cardwell, how can we make this happen at home? What is a good way that we can, get them invested in the work and build some relationship or rapport with them so it looks different from here I'm your mom, but here I'm also your mom and your educator at the same time, like legally, technically, because the teacher is via camera. Then families understanding like what the IEP holds with distance learning, that it is still in effect, that you still should be having meetings that.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. And they're still having meetings with the IEP specialists or what are they? Are they teachers or are they specialists? Like, what are they categorized as?
I would say it's a mix of both. So you have your special education teachers who should be contacting families according to how many hours of services they get for the child academically. But then, excuse me,
I'm wiping out my screen for all those germs. All of them.
I'm over here dying from allergies. That I do. I had no other symptoms. But my eyes get red and watery, so let me take Claritin before I get on here.
I understand.
But I do know that there are also services, so like physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech. Those things should be happening because required by law. That document is signed. That child still deserves education. School were closed until summer break. Like the learning is still happening, just a distance away from school.
Okay. What other kind of support like are you guys giving for the IEPs? Or are there meetings? The meetings are actually set up. Like, how are you as the assistant principal making sure that happens? Like, where's the accountability at for that?
So I was blessed with a strong special education teacher on my team, so she's handling all of this. But there are kids who have like annual reviews coming up, and we have to collect some math data from either our online learning programs or assessments that we took before we actually went into this stay-at-home order. But she literally has everything set up for the whole year on the calendar, like annual review, IEP meeting, reset goals, come back and do more hours, let's reevaluate, things like that. So she's done such an amazing job with that. It's made my job a lot easier. But I do step in when one teacher's not there. I can speak to the academics of what I even notice because I do work with all children, not just a specific group of kids within my support band. But I also think the other thing is when we have these IEP meetings, all of our service providers are on the call. So the OT has jumped on the Zoom call, the physical therapist has jumped on the Zoom call, and we just we're in person having this meeting, but just from our own homes.
Okay, well, that's really good. That's really good. My nephew has an IEP, so I was just talking to my brother the other day about like what kind of support he's getting, and sometimes it's really hard for the parents because, especially if they don't know the language. Like I've learned a lot of new words just in the this first like 20 minutes with you. That's really good. So what tools have you seen that are most helpful for the parents? In this distance learning environment?
And I think that also goes by school. So like my school or my network, it's based from California, and they're really big on Facebook. And every family that joins, we tell them join the Facebook page. This is where you access all the information. We have other ways of sending out distributed information as well. But that was like our streamlined hub for where everything would go.
Mm-hmm.
Currently now, because with Facebook, you have to have your parents' cell phone or your parents' login, and there are things your parents don't want you to see, and your parents are like, oh, I need to use my phone. So all of us are shifting to Google Classrooms for 2nd through 5th graders. So it can go from 2nd grade and up. 2nd graders needs a lot more support with the tech.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to assign, like the teachers will record videos and post. The assignments can be posted. Kids can work on the assignment online and things like that. And that has been helpful for parents to be more streamlined and student accessible versus social media platforms where some teachers are trying to teach and educate.
Okay. All right. So Google Classroom. For parents that are out there that are watching, like if they haven't heard of this yet, or if their schools aren't doing this, what should they be asking?
So I would recommend that the parents go and say like, hey, is there a Google Classroom, or what ways are you distributing work to students? I know some schools also said like, hey, we're passing out packets this week, go to your elementary school. I'm not sure if that was Prince George's County or DCPS. But I do know some schools are taking precautious measures of how they're handing out work, bring your own pen, things like that, so that students have access to something, whether it's a laptop or whether it's paperwork, similar to the post you shared this morning around Prince George's County distributing computers to those kids. Schools are exhausting all the technology that they have in hope that it's either returned or replaced by whoever's coming up as a funder. But tech is distributed. It shouldn't be no working laptop inside of school right now.
Okay.
Or iPad or tablet or anything like that, just because the school should have exhausted all options for all kids to have, access to content.
And I saw I think I saw a post that said that some of the libraries are offering Wi-Fi in their parking lots. Like you can go to library parking lots as long as you have your library card, you can sit there and access their Wi-Fi.
Yep.
In your cars. Is that okay?
I know DC is doing that. They're also letting you get a lot of, I don't want to say audio books, like it's visual and audio books, to where you can actually read on like a Kindle or a tablet or your own laptop. Okay. You can't go inside the library and, do the things that we used to do, but there's also that level of research that people need who do online learning and things like that outside of K-12 education.
Okay. And so I know you have helped like several of my friends and, like I said, clients, right? And so what can you offer people who may like need support? Like, is there anything, because I know you put a post out there, and that's why I have you on, that said, if people need support, like you miss being in the class, you miss seeing your kids and all of that, and I'm sure they miss you too. Like you are Mr. Cardwell and they love you. As people can see from the little video that I put in the post. But what are you offering people who may need some additional support?
I want to come back to that one. I want to highlight some programs that families can do online too, outside of the classroom, but I do have like a long list of ways I can support.
Okay.
There are online programs, and I can add them to the post as well, but 10 Marks does, I think, 3rd through 12th grade math, where students can access grade level content. Parents, you can assign if you want, or you can tell the teacher to use this program, just ways to have it out there. Reflex is more elementary based, so your 1st, 2nd, or 1st through 5th grader to develop the basic fact fluency skills, addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division. And then News ELA, so NEWSELA, is a school created website, or you can create one at home for your personal use, and it's more to get kids to comprehend the text, whether it's a fiction text or non-fiction text. Kids can dive deep into it and ask questions, so it has things that they can access and answer based on whatever grade level content they need. Mm-hmm. And then the Academy has videos for math, but a pilot program for reading that is aligned to NWA, which I do believe Prince George's County and DC take. I don't believe Virginia. NWA. It's a statewide assessment, which has been canceled, but it tests kids on a national norms level. So the average score is what all the second graders in the nation are scoring. It'll say whether your child is on grade level academically or below.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's really good. And any other?
That's it. But the more I find, the more I can share.
Okay, so we have some people out here who have some questions. One, Anthony says, yes, please add the link for these. Can you see these comments, Aaron? This is my first time using this platform.
No.
Okay, so it says, he says, please add the link for these math and other learning programs. Okay. And they all said, thank you so much for this today. So Aaron, if you had to sum it up, because there are some things that I learned today, like, what did you call, you called it, a resistant work behavior, mm-hmm. and restorative learning versus like punitive learning. And balancing work and home. I think that most people are having a hard time even working from home, balancing work and home. Do you have any suggestions for that?
It's a challenge. I think the work from home is like setting boundaries with your kid. Let a timer on YouTube or on your phone, like until this timer goes off, this is the amount of time that I'm working, the amount of time that you're working. And the biggest piece is building consistency with your child. If they do this for, let's just say, average 21 days to build a habit, it's going to take some time. Your child will then fall in line and say, you know what, from 8 to 8:15, that's breakfast time. From 8:15 to 11 o'clock, that's my work time. And I ask my parent for help if needed. I shouldn't be getting up. I shouldn't be running around the house. Like, these are my expectations. And the more consistent you are with the schedule, that will help that work life or work teacher, parent, home balance kind of sort of, because you are creating a schedule for yourself, but also creating a schedule for your child. For those that are working from home, for those who are not, I think creating some time for yourself to decompress from your day and say, you know what, when I get home from 7 to 8, I'm just going to put some time into my child and make sure they're still learning.
Yeah.
Or from 6 to 9, like we're sitting down, we're reading together, we're writing together, we're doing some type of math to keep that learning going and that investment on learning, or to build that investment in learning, because a lot of students don't see their parents doing the academic work because of, you know, the hard work society that we live in today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so I asked you earlier, and you said you have a long list of what support can you give parents out here, because you had offered your support. So what are you offering to?
I can help with any content, kindergarten through 6th grade. I think the biggest thing for me is being able to see some material before, you know, I hop on the phone and say, hey, this is how you do it. Or if it's, I only have 5 minutes, I can tell you what it says. Can you walk me through it? Things like that. I'm completely fine with that. I'm doing it with my students throughout the day. So if I have the free time, I'm willing to support and help. Or if it's scheduled time, like, Aaron, I need 30 minutes on Monday to really, you know, understand some of the math that's happening this week. Can you work with me? Sure. Why not? It's not easy to look at and say, I get it. But when somebody teaches you how to do it, it normally clicks a lot faster. Parent coaching for ways to support with distance learning, making sure like a movement break is embedded. You know, we're not staring at the screen for 5 hours. We do something in between. We stretch, we breathe, some type of wellness check, not only for the parents, but the child, because you do want to still leave the house when this is over, you know, with some type of sanity versus like, oh, I've been teaching for 2nd graders wearing me out. What am I going to do with the 4th grader? But actually we practice some things in between to really still have that wellness there. I can do coaching 1 to 2 times a week with families who are, you know, severely in need with the academic support, especially those with IEPs, figuring out what grade level they're, you know, on and how I can support to make sure they're still getting some learning if it's not being done at the school, but also giving them pointers on how to access or adequately ask for what you need to get the IEP serviced in the right way. And then, like I said, how to learn Common Core at home. If it's science, I got you. If it's reading, social studies, we're gonna have to talk. I gotta study it before. But math, reading, science, I'm 100% on board. Like I said, social studies, I didn't have that teacher that made me get that love of social studies yet. So maybe it'll come when I work on my EDD. And then if they need anything, just reach out to me. I will post on your page weekly of some of the content that I have and what I share. So like I said, I am right now making videos for 3rd grade, so they will be able to see those being posted on my Instagram or on Facebook.
Okay, so can you tell the people how they can reach you?
Yes, so my cell phone number, you might want to write this down.
You're giving out cell phone numbers on.
Right.
You must love what you do.
I do, and I just want to make sure everybody feels supported because it's not easy.
It's not. It really isn't. It's not easy.
So my cell phone number is 202-553-5322. Just text me, hey, here's my name. I have a 2nd grader. You can text your questions now. You can text them later. I'm here to support. My email, again, which I also, Ms. Jordan, I can text you and you can post, or I can post on Facebook or something.
You can post it.
Okay. It's Aaron, Aaron, T as in Thomas, Cardwell, Cardwell @gmail.com. So you can send me an email with links or things like that, and I can help you work that out as well, or pictures, things like that. And then my Facebook, I'll comment, if I haven't already, I'll comment on the Facebook page so you can see it, but it's Aaron Cardwell. I'm not sure if I'm searchable. I may or may not be, but I will comment below so you can click me there, send me a message. A few of your friends have already sent me messages about IEPs and just like, how does distance learning work? What should I ask for? Things like that.
Yeah. So if you had any last words on advice that you would give to parents right now, what would those top 3 things be?
I think the first thing would be to be patient. Everybody's learning this. No school has mastered it. Especially for the elementary school role, kids are still learning how to access computers. Yes, they test online, but it's still a learning curve for them, especially with trying to FaceTime and Zoom teachers and have conference calls, things that we do as adults, just really making sure that the kid feels supported while learning this as well. The other thing is, don't be afraid to say you don't understand. That creates vulnerability in what you do with your children, not only in the present, but in the future, especially when it comes to their academics. And if we choose athletics or, career goals, it creates a space of, I don't understand. Here's how you advocate for something you want, or here's how you go research things that you need. The other thing is, make it fun. If it's, you finish your work for the day, you worked for 30 minutes in, a quiet zone, like, let's have a snack break. Let's make ice cream. Let's go outside for a quick run, doing something that still creates the joy factor of education at home as well. So.
Yeah. And one more question, like some of the families are doing like 3 different grade levels. Like, what is your advice for them?
Use the older one to teach the younger one. That's the easiest way. They should not, to be completely honest, the way Common Core is set up, if I had an 11th grader who has already passed 5th grade, the things that they're doing day to day still encompass those skills. It's just really reading and comprehending to what the math is asking you to solve. And if it's, my 11th grader struggle with 5th grade math, and this is a conversation we need to have, there are videos on YouTube. Like I said, I'm here to help as well. If it's, I got 3 kids, I got a 9th grader, a 4th grader, and a kindergartner, let me know. We can figure something out. I also have teachers who are also willing to help and support others. So we can figure this out together. We can, it's all a learning experience. So I would say use your older kids to help the younger kids, but also take time to learn it for yourself if you can.
Thank you, Aaron. And I can say that every single parent out there now has a better appreciation for their teachers. Shout out to my alma mater, Friendly High School, for developing a young man. I mean, how about that? Like, this has been great. Like, I've watched your journey into education and, deciding that was what you want to do. And I've watched God do some amazing things in your life. And so thank you for coming on. Thank you for offering your services for free during this time. I think everybody needs that. And so I appreciate you a lot, Aaron.
No problem.
I look forward to seeing all the good things that happen. And, everybody reach out, comments on this post. I'll do a replay once I learn how to do that. And new platform. I'll try to do a replay. And Aaron, just thank you for making yourself available. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. This was fun, and this is my realm. You know, I gotta support my people.
All right, cool. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Thank you.
All right, you too. Let me know if you no problem.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Okay.